The Delta variant forces states to make major changes. The new requirement for state employees and healthcare workers in California. A local ER nurse is home after a 3-month battle with COVID in the hospital. What he believes saved his life, even after his family had to say their goodbyes. And first it was toilet paper, then household cleaner. Now there's not enough chlorine. As we head into the middle of summer, the crucial closures that shortage is forcing.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
State employees and healthcare workers will soon be required to get vaccinated or tested regularly. This as new COVID cases continue to rise across the state and here in San Diego County. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner shows us how county leaders are addressing the alarming new spike in cases and the impact of the Delta variant.
Late in the day, the county released new COVID-19 case numbers. Over the last 3 days, a total of 2,044 cases have been reported. There have been 55 hospitalizations and 3 people going to the ICU. Meanwhile, vaccination clinics like the one behind me that are operated by the county, they remain open. They are free to the public and no appointment is needed. County vaccination center doors opened Monday as the San Diego City Council took on the issue of COVID-19 response and recovery. The county's Dr. Jennifer Tudor called the Delta variant a gold medal winning spreader.
So if you think, well, I just have a cold, I just have a headache, I just have a sore throat, those are some of the most common symptoms in this Delta variant.
Heading into the weekend, the county reported 1,200 new daily cases. County stats show in the last month, about 90% of new cases involve people who aren't fully vaccinated. When Dr. Jennifer Campbell asked if there was a threshold at which a mask mandate would be considered, Dr. Tudor said the county was looking at the latest data, but no decisions were forthcoming.
Our projections are sobering.
It comes as Governor Gavin Newsom announced Monday that starting in early August, California will require that all state workers prove their vaccination or undergo weekly testing.
246,000 Californians are state employees. 246,000 Californians should be vaccinated. And if they're not vaccinated and cannot verify that they've been vaccinated, we are requiring that they get tested.
Statewide, the daily case average is now more than 6,300, which is more than double the daily average from 2 weeks ago. According to the state, less than 50% of adults 18 to 49 have gotten at least one vaccine dose, and less than 25% of those 50 to 64 have gotten at least an initial dose. And today, the City Council also discussed getting more young people vaccinated in time for school in the fall. They also took on the issue of vaccine equity. Also, the Planning Department also went over a proposal to keep outdoor dining spaces permanent, which is going to be voted on in the fall. Reporting from Kearney Mesa, Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
It could save your life or your family members.
A plea tonight from an ER nurse months after surviving his harrowing COVID battle in ICU. As ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen tells us, he believes his partial vaccination likely saved his life.
I have good days and bad days.
More than 7 months later, Danny Plata's recovery is slow going, but he's grateful.
My odds were completely bad. I am a walking miracle, literally.
Plata, all too familiar with the tragic impact of COVID since the pandemic began. The single father of 2 was an ER nurse at Sharp Chula Vista. In January, days after receiving the second dose of the Pfizer vaccine, he came down with a sore throat and a fever of 103 degrees. Within about a week's time, he was hospitalized with COVID and placed on a ventilator. It is believed he was infected between vaccine doses. In early February, his condition became dire.
And my oxygen was only 27%. They told my family to come in and say goodbye because I wasn't going to make it through the night.
They said their goodbyes, but doctors tried one last experimental procedure using an ECMO machine, which pumps and oxygenates the blood outside the body. Almost immediately, his family's prayers were answered.
Within, I'm going to say 5 minutes, my oxygen jumped to about 85%. And I started doing better by the day.
In early March, he was taken off the ventilator. About a month later, he was able to go home. Some 3 months later,
I'm on oxygen 24/7 still.
Reminders of his battle, including weakness in his right hand. But he is thankful to be alive and credits being partially vaccinated.
I believe that one of the reasons why I'm alive. It was because the vaccine helped reduce the effects of it.
As COVID cases surge from the Delta variant, he has this message for the unvaccinated.
This thing is serious. It will kill you really fast. Extremely important to get vaccinated. Not only for you, but for the community.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
Plata says that he wants to return to work, but he is still uncertain that he's physically able to do so. And all health workers with the VA are now required to get vaccinated against COVID-19. It's now the first federal agency with a vaccine mandate for employees. Employees will get 4 hours of additional paid leave after showing proof of vaccination. 4 VA employees have recently died of COVID-19. All were unvaccinated. The VA secretary says the mandate is the best way to keep veterans safe. The unredacted gun violence restraining order against the husband of missing Chula Vista mother Maya Miliete was just released. In the order is a picture of a dining room table filled with several high-powered firearms. One of the pictures had one of the couple's children standing in the middle of the guns and ammo. It came out in open court last week that investigators considered Larry a person of interest. Maya was last seen in January, and we'll have more on this unredacted report on ABC 10 News at 7 o'clock. We're settling into a quiet evening at the coast, but some parts of the county remain under a flash flood watch as rain and storms threaten the area. Meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking our conditions tonight. Angelica.
Hi, Kim. We've had a variety of both showers, thunderstorms, certainly a lot of wet weather, and some pretty decent amounts of rainfall. In fact, we saw anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to just over 2 inches of rain. So this is healthy rain for the county, highly needed in the middle of our dry season. It is still very gloomy outside in La Jolla at this hour, just clouds along the coast and a few pop-up showers that may still redevelop in our mountains, perhaps even the possibility for a few isolated thunderstorms. However, the chances will continue to die down overnight. We may still have a chance for tomorrow, but the pattern is going to be a little bit different for the rest of the week. I'll pinpoint exactly what to expect day by day in your 7-day forecast.
And you can keep up with the conditions in your neighborhood with the ABC 10 News app. You can find that for free in the App Store. Could take a week or more to seat a jury in the trial of a man accused of gunning down a San Diego police officer 5 years ago. Wednesday marks the official anniversary of Officer Jonathan de Guzman's death. Prosecutors say he and his partner Wade Irwin were shot after pulling over Jesse Michael Gomez in South Crest. Irwin survived. Gomez will be tried on charges of murder, attempted murder, and murder of a peace officer. He faces the death penalty. ABC 10 News spoke with Officer de Guzman's wife, Jane, in 2017. She told us about their last moments together.
And the last word I heard to him is, "I love you and I love you too." I think that's the most important thing you have to say to someone.
Because you never know.
You never know.
Again, jury selection could take a week or more. The DA's office says the trial itself could last as long as 2 months. An apparent homicide in the San Diego Park area has police investigating. They say officers were called to Emerald Hills Park around 2 o'clock this morning. That's where they found a man in the parking lot who had been shot several times. He was rushed to the hospital but did not survive. Now police are looking for anyone who may have seen or heard what happened. You can call San Diego Police or Crime Stoppers with any information. There are new developments in a shooting that took a mother's life in Spring Valley in April. Homicide detectives say they've arrested 26-year-old Jamario Austin for the murder of Carmen Anderson. Family and friends held a vigil to honor Anderson days after her death. She was shot in front of her husband and 4-year-old daughter while they were sitting in a parked car. She died at the hospital. San Diego City leaders are set to vote tomorrow on extending its use of shot spotters. It's a surveillance tool that detects and tracks gunshots. But as our partners at KPBS report, some community advocates want that vote delayed. San Diego has used ShotSpotter for 5 years now in neighborhoods that are predominantly Black and Latino. Advocates say that they're worried that the council's vote tomorrow won't fall in line with new regulatory practices when it comes to the city's use of surveillance technology.
The reality is we're living in an even more technological world, and we need to have a process in which the city is able to determine which kinds of surveillance technologies make sense and doesn't make sense. And ramming things like ShotSpotters through the process is not how we do that. That's not responsible governing.
New numbers from San Diego police show a surge in gun violence leading up to July. In a letter to the city council, police department leaders said the tool helps officers provide a consistent, rapid, and precise response, which can improve community trust. Tomorrow's city council meeting starts at 11 o'clock. And a huge pile of meth was found hidden in a false compartment on a pickup truck driving through San Clemente. Border Patrol agents say they saw the pickup driving north and pulled it over at the checkpoint on the 5 at the county line. As usual, the drugs were sniffed out by a canine. The hidden compartment was built into the bed of the pickup. Agents say inside were 73 bundles of meth worth more than $200,000 on the street. Agents arrested the driver and turned him over to the DEA. A man was rushed to the hospital after falling from cliffs near a historic home at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. San Diego Fire Rescue says the man was near the Martin Johnson house when he fell to the beach just after 7 o'clock this morning. First responders did not say who he is, only that he's in his 40s. They also did not say how badly he is hurt.